I'd like to welcome all of you to our January regular Board of Education meeting. Tom, do you want to introduce our?
Sure. Welcome Martha Shanahan from the day. Welcome Linda Braley, Vice President of WSBT, and Pat Fedor, President of WASA.
Yes, Valerie Muckle, and our TM representative. Brian Lynch, and our TM representative. I'd like to also welcome all of our teachers that came out tonight and our administrators and the rest of our audience, too. Thank you for coming. Okay. I know, is there any public comment? We always do public comment before the meeting. Yes, Marguerite, just state your name and your address, please.
I'm Marguerite Wooden, 2A Rural Crest Drive, Waterford, and I would like my comments to appear to I come before you as a retired teacher. 36 of my 39 years was spent devoted to the students of Waterford. It was a wonderful career, and I would do it all over again. This is the second time I'm presenting my concerns to you. I'm again requesting that you address the issue of the CRB for teachers and administrators who retired prior to 2014. Since I have retired, the state of Connecticut has been spending $220 to supplement my portion of the medical costs. The Board of Ed only added 110 or 50% of the allotment to my coverage costs while keeping the other 50% for the Board of Ed. The Board of Ed has gained over $7,000 that was my allotment. 2 years ago, the Board of Ed recognized this wrongful allocation practice and corrected it. The amount to be full $220 to each beneficiary. However, the correction was only provided for those retiring in 2014 and beyond. I have two questions. Why has the same correction not been granted to the teachers and administrators who retired prior to 2014? The contract has not changed, yet you stand by your position of not granting fair and appropriate treatment to all retirees. We would like you to explain why all retired teachers and administrators are not being given equal treatment. The state of Connecticut documentation clearly states the entire portion is to be applied to the beneficiary and is not offset the medical costs to the Board of Education. State funds were used incorrectly by the Board of Education. Question 2. How was my additional monthly $220 utilized? How did the Board of Ed utilize the large pool of funds taken from all the retirees prior to 2014? Where did this money go? The retirees request some open dialogue with members of the board, similar to the opportunity granted to the teachers who retired in 2014. We retired teachers of Waterford and administrators are still asking for the opportunity to discuss the serious concern with you.
Thank you. The board had asked me to read something to our retirees, just to give you a little bit of background on what we went through last year, and we just wanted to know that the board respects and appreciates all your service and commitment to all of our retired teachers, and we know you all did a wonderful job. But the board previously reviewed the issue raised by retirees at its meeting on October 23rd, 2014, and again at its meeting on May 28th, 2015. On May 28th, 2015, the board issued a statement endorsing the administrator's action with respect to the provision of retiree health benefits after determining that the administration's actions are consistent with the teachers' and administrators' collective bargaining agreement that you had when you retired. Is there any other public comment? Okay, since there isn't any, we're going to go. Yeah, just state your name.
What you just read was blatantly wrong. But the contract, the collective bargaining contract that was in effect, that Marguerite was just talking about, was fixed in a memorandum of understanding for 2 years out of the 4-year contract. So, what you just read, I believe, is incorrect. They fixed it for a subset group of people in the same collective bargaining position.
Okay, move it this, move it.
Michael Levesque.
Yeah.
Oswegatchie Hills, Niagara.
Retired principal of Putnam. Okay, any other public comment? Okay, now we're going to move on to the consent agenda. Can I have a motion, please, to... Marcia, is there a second? Second. Okay, are there any questions? Well, I just have one question about our budget. The special ed tuition costs and tuition other public and tuition other private. Are we going to be all right, do you think, with our budget?
Well, we're still waiting to get the final figures on the excess cost. So at this point, we're assuming.
Does it usually take them that long?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's you're going to see parentheses, in the whole on those couple of accounts. However, the other ones that you see brackets on the right side,
Yes.
We'll be correcting those at the next meeting in February.
Okay.
We got a little behind with trying to get this budget put together.
Oh, we understand.
But,
Believe me.
Things are flowing fine.
But thank you. Okay. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. Now we're down to reading and review correspondence, you see? Tom doesn't have any, neither do I. Okay, superintendent's report.
Good evening, everyone. I want to thank Oswegatchie School for the wonderful artwork here in the room and in the hallway. It was a pleasure. It's been nice to see parents trickle in over the last week or so to see their child's artwork on the wall. So thank you to Oswegatchie. Just a quick note on the budget process. We'll be meeting next Thursday where we'll present the administration's recommended budget to the Board of Ed. We will go through the entire budget on February 4th, so you have a complete picture on night one, and that will give us an opportunity on the 11th to provide any follow-up information, make any adjustments that the Board would direct us to make. So a little bit about the sequence of events there. And the Board will look to approve the final number at the February 18th Board meeting. Want to just, I could have been under correspondence. Sure.
If one's late, but
No,
I just
fine.
wanted to clarify and just ask you, so we'll be extending and doing the budget workshops with invitations out to the other boards in town?
That has been accomplished.
I've already signed it.
Yeah.
Great.
They're all set.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
We received a letter from Honor Flight New England, which is a charitable organization thanking Waterford High School for their donation of $660. That's an organization that benefits World War II veterans, so kudos to Waterford High School. Our HR office received a letter from the chairman of the State Workers' Comp Commission, who conducted a surprise audit visit back in December. Those are always interesting. But the district in the town received a commendation letter that everything was in order, so compliment to our HR office. Just this week, Mystic Seaport asked us to be a partner on a grant application that would involve our middle school staff and students studying such levels as sea rise and hurricanes. So it's in the grant application process, but it sounds exciting. And we agreed to sign on, so we'll keep you up to date on about that partnership grant. We thank Mystic Seaport for thinking of us. And we would be working with Mystic Seaport and Williams College, so exciting opportunity. We have 21 students visiting from Northeastern Normal University High School, which is located in Northwest China. They arrived yesterday at Waterford High School. We had a wonderful opening ceremony in the library, and they'll be spending, they spent yesterday, today, and tomorrow with our Waterford High School students. And again, strong curricular and cross-cultural opportunities. And, as I said to the group yesterday, we hope to gain as much as the students from China out of this experience. So we look forward to providing an update how that all went. You might recall it was a meeting or two ago, Mr. Merriman asked a question about whether or not we survey families who choose to send their child to magnet school. So we did some research. We talked to some districts around the state who do such a thing, and we developed a survey that we'll be sending out to all current magnet school parents and then any magnet school parents and families moving forward to see why those choices are made and if there's things that we can do here in the district to address any concerns they might have. So thank you for the suggestion, and we're moving forward with that. I'm happy to report back on our data as it's accumulated, of course. I just got word today from Principal Chris Discordia that the Commissioner of Education, who has visited Waterford twice this fall, is forming a Commissioner's Council on Mathematics. I think you might recall when we talked about SBAC scores on a statewide basis, they were not where the Commissioner thought they should be. So the Commissioner is forming a Council on Mathematics that will develop concrete steps to improve math instruction in the state. One of our teachers at Quaker Hill, grade 2 teacher, Sarah Egan, has been selected to serve on that council, hand-selected by the Commissioner. So that is quite an honor for our district as well as her. So we'll keep you updated on that as well. You might recall that there was, through the building project, some issues with the original construction of the ridge vent along the high school roof. We did have a snowstorm last weekend with high winds and powdery snow, and everything was dry in the attic of the high school. So in good shape there. I know the building committee will appreciate that news as well. Anything before I move into the next announcement?
It's just a comment.
Sure.
If we go back to the visit from our Chinese, I'd just like to say it was nice, and Ned, I didn't see you there because I came in a little bit later, but it was just wonderful to see this exchange and with Mr. Hauser, and on behalf of the board and state presented them with a little flag. And I'd just like to reiterate what tremendous students, these Chinese students are so polite, so appreciative, and they were really happy to be here. And Waterford High School looked great. The atmosphere was wonderful, and I just wanted to extend that appreciation. Thank you.
We have wonderful students too.
We do.
They're very polite.
My last announcement under reports is one that I've been looking forward to for several months, and that is to introduce our new Director of Finance and Operations for the school district. I'd like to spend just a moment talking about Mr. Joseph Mancini, who is joining our team. We had a robust pool of applicants. Over 20 people have applied. I don't. I'm going to say a few nice things about him, if you don't mind. It was an extensive process. We had over 20 applicants for the position. 5 applicants were selected for an initial first-round screening interview. 3 moved on to a second round. That was whittled down to 2. And ultimately, Mr. Mancini was chosen as our candidate of choice. He had wonderful ideas around cost containment and some of the things that he's accomplished in his current position as Director of Finance for the town of Simsbury, Connecticut. Over the last 2 years there, Mr. Mancini has implemented several policies to improve the financial position of the town as a AAA rated town. I think he would deserve some of the credit for that. He recently conducted audits on town contracts that have resulted in $100,000 in savings. Prior to Simsbury, Mr. Mancini served as the town of West Haven's Finance Director from 2010 through 2014. He implemented several new key software solutions to automate and streamline processes, and reorganized the budget process there to be more efficient. During his time in both West Haven and Simsbury, he worked closely, obviously, with boards of education and obviously town officials. Prior to that, Mr. Mancini served in the private financial sector, working for Sikorsky Aircraft and Unilever Corporation. We are excited to bring you to the team. We're excited about your skill set and ideas and certainly your energy. And welcome to Waterford and welcome to the team. Say a few words.
Absolutely thrilled to be here, guys. I love Finland. value investment. So it's really done that with very construction over the last decade. Really remarkable to see that many new schools in the district since the shoreline. I'm from Clinton. I know I did West Aid and Simsbury excuse. I'm looking forward to a 20 to 30 drive as opposed to spending 3 hours in the car. We've got a lot of fun together. I look forward to it. Hope you guys do too. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe. We're looking forward to working with you, too. And your resume was very impressive. So welcome to Waterford.
Joe will join us on March 1st. In the meantime, we continue to be served very well by interim Director of Finance, Rob Gorley. So we'll aid in an effective transition, and we look forward to having Joe here on March 1st. And certainly, he'll be encouraged to spend time here before that. So thank you. That concludes the Superintendent's report.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're down to committee and other reports. Does anybody have a report? Okay, in your package you did have the committee assignments, and Marcia was kind enough to offer to serve on the sick leave committee. Kathleen is going to serve on broadband, and Amanda was kind enough to offer to serve on the Waterford Education Foundation. So we have all of our positions filled. I'm looking forward to a lot of committee reports at our next meeting, okay? No, go ahead, Kathleen.
I did attend the Atlantic Broadband Committee meeting the other day, and as we go forward, hopefully there will be discussion going forward as to whether, if you recall, back a number of years ago, there were grants that were extended to the school districts and letters went in. That's under discussion, under review, so once a decision has been made, I will report back to the board on that. We do have some legislative pieces that are directly related to the district, but we may talk about that. I'm not sure because we're going to go back on the 4th to talk about the budget, but if I may just say, I think a tremendous amount of good work has gone into the formation of this budget, and we all know the looming issue out there is related to the Friendship School, and I know Superintendent Giard and Eileen Howley and myself and a number of us are working very diligently to see if we can't come up with a solution going forward. I did put a piece of letter. As you know, this is a short session, so with a short session, individual legislators cannot put forward their own bills, but you can put forward a committee bill and a letter. So we're going to look at a few things. One that I thought was worthy was looking at the way magnet school funding takes place and looking at some parity there. So I can't promise anything. It goes out to the committee and they decide what bills will be looked at. But there is a lot of work going on to try to correct this problem. Brought it up to the attention of the Southeastern delegation, so they're all quite aware. And I'm hopeful that we can come to a resolution that we can get some good work done, because I think the administrators, the teachers, everyone did a fabulous job, and I know we'll get into it more on the 4th, but to have this kind of driver in the budget, we really need to give it the full attention that we can, and I know Eileen's working nonstop on trying to help with it, so that's kind of good.
Well, that's good because they went back on their promise to us.
No, I realize that.
The parents are not supposed to have to pay for education.
Hopefully we'll have a good report.
Sure. Superintendent Rivera, myself, and Eileen Howley, Executive Director of Learning, met as recently as today. There is an update on the tuition issue, which I'll certainly provide next Thursday. It's better news, not great, but hopefully trending in the right direction. But we have a long ways to go.
It's important.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jody Ellis, okay. I do attend Waterford High School meetings when I can. Mr. Hauser had a very nice breakfast coffee meeting, helping parents through the exam week. And of course my PTO has a lot of great fundraisers going, and kids are going to the Rubik's Cube competition.
Great.
So excited to hear about that.
That's good. Do a lot of parents attend the morning coffee?
They do. There was a decent turnout. Not as many on exam week, but we've got more to go.
But it's a good start.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other committee reports? Okay, I just want to remind everybody that under the Youth Service Bureau report, I have flyers for you. and you can't miss them, so you won't forget the date. It's a bright green color. Dancing with the Stars is going to be on Friday, February 19th, and all the this is the Youth Service Bureau's only major fundraiser for the year, and all the proceeds are going to go towards mental health, and they could really use it. Danny has been their counseling services, as I've been reporting almost every month, it's really a challenge. We have a lot of children and families in town that need help, and hopefully we'll be able to help more. The Dancing with the Stars will be a huge success. I'm just so thankful for the Waterford Police Department and our administrators and teachers, and as you can see on the flyer, so many of them are attending, are going to take part, not attending, they're taking part in the Dancing with the Stars. I'm really looking forward to see who wins. Okay, under School Building Committee, as Tom said, the roof vent is fixed, so that's great. Jay and his crew started work on the outside with the plantings, and that stopped for now, but it's going to pick up again in the spring. And we're getting really close to closing out the project, and we still have a substantial amount of money left over that we're going to be returning to the town. And I'm very thankful to Jay and Tom and everybody else that's worked on that to keep the costs down. You've done a good job. And welcome back, Jay. Glad you're feeling better. We haven't had a Friendship School Governing Board Committee yet, but Tom just mentioned the GU. He and Superintendent Rivera and Eileen have been working very diligently to try to help with the financial aspect of it, of the school. So hopefully we'll be able to get that straightened out, like you said, and hopefully our state will reinstate the funds that they promised us. Okay. Now, under new business, discussion and possible action regarding our technology plan for 2015 to 18, and that was enclosed in our packet.
Sure. What you have in front of you is a new 3-year tech plan. Very consistently had a tech plan through the years. It's no longer required by the state of Connecticut, but it's good practice. It's really the result of many months of work dating all the way back to last year. Broad representation on the committee, many teachers and administrators across the district involved in the development of that plan. I think it's reflected in the document that was put together. Highlights strong digital citizenship, strong foundational skills in technology, problem solving, all of those things. And I think you'll be excited. We have a short presentation. I know Craig wanted to say a few words before we handed it off to the presenters.
Thank you. So as Mr. Yard said, basically we have a 22-member tech committee district-wide, and of that, that includes the 3 technology coaches who will be providing a presentation tonight. The IT director was also instrumental in components of this plan. Principals reviewed the plan with their staff. Since the early 1990s, we've had either a 5-year or a 3-year tech plan. It's gone from 5 to 3 as technology is increasingly changing quickly. So in the early 90s, it was 5 years. This tech plan provides us guidance for budget planning in the future. But more importantly, this plan sets the instructional and professional learning direction for the students and staff. And tonight, basically, let's introduce Kelly Barnes, our technology coordinator at the high school, Robin Shine, our technology coordinator at the middle school, and Robin Singh, our technology coordinator at the 3 elementary, to provide us with details.
Hi.
Hello. Hello. Thank you so much for letting us come and share this tech plan tonight. You know, because we've met with you before, we're all really passionate about technology and get very excited, so we're really appreciative of this opportunity. We decided that we were going to kind of walk the walk, and we were, instead of just kind of doing a PowerPoint, we were going to model what we're asking all of our teachers and our students to do and kind of take some risks and present our learning and our plan in a video instead of standing up here and doing a PowerPoint. But of course, we're happy to answer any questions or expand on any details for you. But we hope you like this kind of 21st century model of a video.
And Tom and Craig were kind of busting me the other day. They said if I was really modeling 21st century learning, we would have given you this video ahead of time as a flip learning experience, and you all could have watched it. And we wouldn't have to watch it here. We'd all just kind of... So we were kind of like, well, maybe next time. So we hope you like it.
Technology Plan being presented to you today took over a year to develop and was a very extensive, rigorous, and collaborative effort. The state requires districts to outline technology plans in 3-year increments. In the past, the state has disseminated very restrictive outlines for plans, and this year they were more flexible. Taking advantage of this flexibility, we asked ourselves, how do we create a valuable, practical document that contains meaningful goals that we are invested in as a team and that we want to attain? Oh, creating this plan. To develop an outline, we researched local, United States, and global plans, as well as looked at technology standards and frameworks to structure ourselves. We can't tell you how many times this philosophy has been tweaked, but the purposeful implementation of technology throughout the curriculum and the belief that technology integration is an essential component of instruction have always been a common thread. As tech coaches, we wanted a significant contribution from the technology committee members, so we had them explore professional journals, standards, and innovative technology practices. The collection depicted on the screen was comprehensive, the articles are research-based and aligned to standards, and the practices outlined within them are innovative. In December of 2014, these educators were placed into groups according to topics and were provided these resources to collaboratively develop goals for the technology plan. In order to provide an educational rationale, we consistently needed to address the challenges of an unpredictable and changing world through technology integration.
Guided by our charge to prepare learners for an unpredictable world, tech coaches consolidated the ideas put forth by the Tech Committee and considered these ideas through the lens of the ISTE standards and the State Technology Plan guidelines. From the themes of digital citizenship, global education, and authentic learning identified by the committee, emerged a powerful educational rationale. These essential themes organized themselves around the premise of creating computational thinkers.
A second powerful theme emerged from our study of the committee's work. It was apparent that it would be critical to provide opportunities for professional growth and leadership if we wanted to support teachers in facilitating the technology experiences identified in our plan.
The final theme identified was the need to continue to strengthen our collaborations with the IT team to ensure that infrastructure is robust and supports the learning outcomes our plan seeks to achieve.
In developing a framework for our plan, we decided to build the plan around achieving the 3 critical challenges we had identified: developing computational thinkers, professional development, and technology infrastructure. In March 2015, we returned to the Tech Committee with the framework for our plan and our 3 challenges clearly defined. The 3 challenges framed our work. We maintained a focus on the ISTE standards, as well as the goals specified in the State Tech Plan template. Committee members reviewed the goals and priorities that were developed during the initial planning meeting. There was further opportunity for research and discussion. Through the lens of our challenges, we built on our earlier work, clarifying objectives and accountability. The tech coordinators came together and began the process of translating the work of the committee into an actionable plan. Clear educational objectives, strategies, accountabilities, and timelines were developed to support the 3 identified challenges. A cohesive blueprint emerged from the ideas of the committee. We maintained a focus on creating a practical, user-friendly, and actionable plan. The document was revised many times before it was ready to be reviewed once again by the committee.
In May, we had finalized our plan, and it was ready for intensive editing received by our District Technology Committee. The goal of this meeting was to come back together to review, critique, and build upon all the work we previously did. Modeling the powerful features of Google Apps for Education, we collected feedback from all committee members. The tech coaches used this feedback to fine-tune our plan into a practical, achievable document that incorporates all the innovative initiatives that we've developed over the past year. This plan is now an extremely valuable document that enables us to identify and plan for successfully integrating technology into the curriculum, including such things as digital citizenship, global learning, and computer science offerings. The tech replacement cycle was developed by the IT department to support our plan and initiatives. Tech coaches will continue to collaborate with the IT staff to ensure that all members of the Waterford Public School community have equitable access to cutting-edge technology. In October of 2015, after many hours of fine-tuning, we gave our committee one last chance to review and verify that we created the document to achieve our goals. After many hours of work, we had a final, complete, realistic, achievable plan that outlines our goals and innovative expectations. We sent the plan to the admin team for review and incorporated all the feedback into the plan. We have developed a plan with meaningful goals that we are invested in not to attain. This will benefit all Waterford students.
With our blueprint in hand, we are eager to achieve the goals specified for 2016-17 and beyond.
That was great.
Thank you. Did you want us to talk a little bit about what that looks like?
Sure.
So, Tom had asked us, just sort of like, this is the origin of our plan, we sort of set some of our initiatives, and, just to sort of give you a picture of if we successfully implement this plan over the next couple of years, as we certainly hope to, what will it look like at elementary, middle school, and high school? So at elementary school, I would expect to see a culture of technology, seamless, purposeful technology. Children will have strong, basic technology skills that they'll be able to apply to higher level critical thinking. We also believe that if this plan is implemented with fidelity, students will have a strong background in digital citizenship conflict. We know that we have to teach these skills in a purposeful way because the kind of the world that our kids are in right now is pretty tricky to navigate, and they really do need some skills and some knowledge to be able to be successful and to be safe in that world. So that would start at the elementary level. And I think both Tom and Craig alluded to the global learning. We certainly want our kids to have global learning experiences even at the elementary level through things like Missy Skype and ePal, and maybe some global collaboration through Google Docs. Another thing that's already happening, but I expect we'll go deeper and deeper into over the next couple of years where this plan is in place, is using Google Apps for education. Quaker Hill has already, they've dived in full force in grades 3 through 5, and they're using it with great success. And Great Neck and Antofagasta are starting this February. The kids are going to be using Google Apps for education and fourth and fifth grade. So we feel really good about what's going to happen at the elementary level.
Through the implementation of this plan, we're going to, our middle school students coming to middle school will build upon those skills learned at the elementary school level. What we will be doing is working with more technologies, global collaboration, expanding our use of Google Apps for education, and we're going to be offering more computer science and coding classes to our middle school students as well. And we're also going to be offering, over the next couple of years, digital citizenship lessons so that our students are safe online and know how to use the internet and social media properly and get them ready basically for high school.
At the high school level, we really want to develop our kids not only to be good citizens in school and face-to-face, but we really want them to be good citizens online, digitally. We all know that there's been some instances lately with high school students from all over Connecticut and all over the United States making some mistakes online. So we're doing a lot of work at the high school to try to lay the foundation for that behavior and spread that through the high school. We're really going to work to make sure that our students are prepared for not only for college careers, but for any jobs that they might have, and just for life. The reality is, our kids that are graduating are no longer just going to have one career. They're going to be in multiple careers. It's definitely going to involve communication and collaboration with people from other countries and other parts of the world. So we really want to develop that cultural responsiveness and have students really working with people from all over the world and have that empathy and understanding. What exactly does that look like? I mean, we don't exactly know. Maybe it looks like kids in world language classes developing relationships with people from other countries. Maybe it looks like kids in social studies classes looking at historical events from a different perspective maybe it looks like kids in science classes using flexible learning spaces that are talked about in the plan to design and develop ocean drifters, and then, going back to the drawing board when that fails and falls apart. We want our kids to know it's okay to fail. Failure is the first attempt at learning, so we want them to embrace that and embrace their abilities to be engineers and modify and be successful. Something we've talked about a lot is how the Common Core is really what we're trying to do, and the ISTE and the technology standards are the how. So we think that this plan is a great outline and a great blueprint for us to be successful, and we're really kind of psyched about it. Does anybody have any questions for us? Any board members have any questions?
I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
I know a Teacher's Day is really stressed out to the max with math and science and reading and everything else. Are you integrating the computers in all the discipline areas, or are you doing separate tech classes?
So why don't you talk about one of the goals is to frame what are those tech competencies so that we can improve this into the curriculum. So that's one of our goals for this year.
Sure. So we're infusing. We're definitely people who are infusing technology into the curriculum. We're looking at teachers' Common Core standards, and we're looking at ISTE standards, and we're putting them together to develop lessons that accomplish goals so that teachers don't feel like it's another thing. So it's not one more task for them. So, for example, I'll take digital citizenship for me. I looked at digital citizenship and I looked at the English language arts Common Core standards and put them together, and they fit really nicely. So that's one example of.
Is it happening all the way down to elementary that way?
It is, and I have a couple teachers here, and I'm thinking of our classes that we did today. But we work very closely together to identify areas in the curriculum that we can support and enrich through the use of technology. So maybe if somebody was doing a study of geography, like we were doing math in third grade, we did a mystery site with a school in Texas, and the kids had to use maps and directions and all sorts of things to figure out where these other kids in Texas were. So that's just like one example of global learning, visual communication, and integration.
And one of the other things I noticed, one of your bullet points was that all students would have access to personal Google Drive. Does that mean that every kid's going to get a computer, or what does that access mean?
So Google Drive is a cloud-based storage center.
But they have to have a computer to do it.
So we have, so Google Drive would be referred to as an account. Like it's an account that's given when they're given a login to log into the school system.
But in order to log in, you have to have a computer.
So we would use Google Drive as part of, as we're doing right now, for example, in all the schools really.
Okay.
Kids would log in, and rather than working on their network account in the computer lab that day and maybe doing a PowerPoint on their computer and saving it to their network folder, they would log into their Google Drive and they would use Google's product, which is called Slides, functions similarly, but the difference is Rob and Kelly and I could all be in there with them saying, did you think about adding a picture here, because it's a collaborative tool.
Can it go home?
They can get it
anywhere.
Anywhere. Because it's in the cloud, kids can access it. And for them, when I explained this to them, and I'm standing in front of them, you take it from your iPad or your mom's cell phone, you can see it. And I was like, oh my God. They are just so fired up about the power that they have to go in with a friend and work on their homework together in their own houses on their mom's cell phone at night.
So the nice thing we're finding with technology is, we would often have an application in school, but then they couldn't practice at home.
Right.
And or we would teach them, say, Microsoft Word, but then maybe they wouldn't have that particular program at home.
Right.
Maybe they had a Mac. So there was that PC Mac revolution.
But we're able to do this without them providing them with a computer.
Right.
We are. They have access to technology, and we've worked with Google so that the student has a login and password to get onto our server, and that would be the same way, the same login and password to their Google Drive, and then the Word document, the kind of spreadsheet document, the slideshow documents, which are all free kind of open technology devices so that no matter what tool they have either at the library or at home, they can still work on these things.
Right.
And I think that's a great asset.
Oh, I do too. I just didn't know if we were going to be providing it all of our students with the actual hard.
Really have a one-on-one boarded ed purchase device. We really have a policy of a bring your own device, so we have access now to technology that's better than we've had before.
And is it pretty much 100% that all kids have some sort of device? I know in my family they do.
It's hard. We do still have a few. Perspective, Andre, would you say that most kids have access to?
At the high school, the majority of kids have access to the device in school, and when we surveyed about a year and a half ago, we found that well over 98% of our students said that either their own or at home they have access to a Wi-Fi enabled computer.
And do we do something for the 2% that are missing out?
We've got a lot of access at the high school. There's also access at the library.
Okay.
And if there's ever any work that a student says to a teacher, I can't do this because it's online and I don't have access to a computer, we work with them.
Okay.
To come up with a solution.
Are they allowed to print out their work at school if they don't have a printer at home?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's we have cloud-based computing, so they can. I mean, in addition to that, I was going to actually make another comment. They have safe searching, so if they log on at home on any Wi-Fi enabled device, they have all the filtering options that our IT team has in place here. That's also in place at home if they log on with our network. And we have cloud-based computing. And Robin and I, we work to make sure that kids can just click on that link. They can print from home, and then with their badges or their ID pin, they can release the job when they come in, and then they have that document to give to their teacher, so they don't.
You might have heard of a Follow Me printer, which is a printer that if you put your school ID at, it sort of clicks, and then if you have a print job, it prints right there. So
I didn't know that.
It's not like it's left at a copier unattended. It's just, as Kelly said, you can have it ready to print, and then they can go up to any of at the high school, they're in a lot of the hallways. At the middle school, they're in a lot of the hallways, and we're kind of outfitting the elementary to this Follow Me concept.
Any other questions?
Mine is more or less a comment. Just first of all, very comprehensive plan, and I'm particularly pleased to see all the opportunities for the exchange, the collaborative learning, not only with the students but with the teachers collaborating, and also the aspect of more to do with the global communication. I think that's really the right way to go. Particularly of interest was the section that some of our students who are particularly excelling in this area will be trained, and perhaps after school with the IT coordinator. I think that's going to be a true benefit in the classroom to have our students helping along. So I'd like to make that comment. And I am of another generation, so I have to just put this question out, that how the response was from the teachers. Because I know a number of years back when we looked at it, it was, still encouraging the teachers to get more involved with the use of technology in the classroom. So it's kind of just a question out of curiosity if most of the teachers now are integrating the use of technology within the classroom.
I can give you a very real example. One of the things that I did this fall was hold some student focus groups. I did two at the high school and one at the middle school, and the biggest compliment that I can give our staff as students to a person I said, what are you most impressed about with your education here? And they said, our teachers' use of technology in the classroom. So, I mean, it's not I think it's solid data when students are saying, wow, we're really impressed with how our teachers are using technology in the class. I don't think there's a better compliment we can give our staff than students noticing it, which is great.
Kathleen, I will tell you, the most powerful moments that I had teaching at high school was we were just using Google Apps for Education with that collaborative feature, and students had to respond and eloquently and with empathy respond to another student's response in the class. Topic, with a topic. And the student said, this is really hard. She's like, my sister has to do this in college, so I know that we're on the right track. So, but it was good. The responses we got from students were really thoughtful and really higher level. So I was pretty excited about that.
And then this is just a little side note, but could you tell me what speed geeking opportunity?
We didn't want to get too dark. But I couldn't help it because I love it so much. Lily and Robin and I are always talking about speed geeking. It's sort of the idea that you take your student experts. So, for example, if you have maybe like if you really think in particular, a child who maybe has been assigned an iPad and is really an expert at a particular app on that iPad, and you get a bunch of kids together who have expertise in certain programs or apps, and teachers like speed dating go through to the different students, and the students teach the teachers how to use different apps or different programs that they are experts on that the teachers are not. And it's a model that's being used in quite a few schools right now.
It goes along with that earlier comment.
Let your kids lead the way a little bit.
I thought they were going to be teaching each other, but I see that they'll be helping some of the teachers. So, thank you.
Thank you for noticing that. Any other questions?
Yeah, the Google Apps for Education, are we just using the web apps piece of it? Because it looks like they have like their web apps, then the content and devices. Is that part of the whole?
Well, we have the suite.
We have the suite of programs. So we have Google Apps for Education, which includes like.
So we work with Google, which costs a little bit of money to then really have a single sign-in and we have access to everything. So it's more than just kind of like a personal account.
Yeah. Right.
You can manage apps and extensions through the app.
Yeah, they kind of give your own sandbox to work in.
Yeah.
And does this plan, I mean, what kind of impact do you think this has, like budget-wise, going forward? With, does it have any impact? And is there going to be any like additional professional development needed to get everyone kind of up to speed and understanding, having the proper level of understanding to get the word out to everybody?
So I think that
so that the technology plan, which is more of the third challenge, is really kind of holding the course on the dollars that we've had. And why we can do that is because every year technology kind of gets a little bit cheaper, and so we can kind of do the same with the same amount of dollars, which is great. We're also able to now re-image old laptops to make them like Google Chromebooks and extend the life expectancy of our current devices to make them still productive and meaningful. Microsoft that's losing market share because of Google is now also giving free upgrades, and so we're able to extend out some desktops. So that's on the financial end for the infrastructure. On the professional development, you see in front of you a lot of the professional development sort of cost, which is really our coaches, so that they're working daily on coaching the teachers. And of course, that's probably the best way for adults to learn technology is that one-on-one regular experience. The notion that you're going to go away and learn everything you need to know about technology in a one-day CD is really not good adult learning process.
No, it's got to be an ongoing process.
With the same type of PD resources, I think we can achieve these pretty lofty goals.
And
our technology committee is very powerful too that way, and we've seen a lot of very positive response from the members of our technology committee and dissemination of information that way. So we're really proud of the representatives from each school that meet with us 5 times a year for 3 hours at a time and kind of do that groundwork for us too.
And can you explain coding to me, what that is? Because I'm a software developer, so when I hear that word, I think something totally different than what's going on. I think of actually writing software.
So, do you want to know or you want me to go? It's really different at every level.
Yeah, it's different at every.
At elementary, our
That's kind of what I thought.
It's very fundamental. You might, if you go home and Google Hour of Code, you can go on their website and you can just, it might interest you as a software person just to kind of look at what they're doing. What they're really doing is giving kids a lot of
puzzles and basic sequences, kind of minimal block-based, so that kids start to develop a problem-solving kind of a mindset. And they don't know it, but when they start to get to like the second level, they're doing nested loops and they're doing procedures and stuff. And then as you move into like a program called Lightbot, they're really doing like nested loops and stuff. So they're getting those fundamentals without really knowing it.
Again, without getting too jargony, if you think about graph sweeper, and you want to get, if this was a piece of graph sweeper from here to here, then the students have to know how many spaces do they need to go left, how many spaces, or how many spaces do they need to go north in the basic, and then there might be obstacles, like, oh, you've got to get around this, so then you kind of have to work around it. And that type of coding then leads to the if-then statement, which is then the rudimentary basis for programming that you do.
Robin is doing something really, so we're very foundational, Robin is really taking it a lot.
So I was tasked with offering personal finance to 8th graders in coding. So I really started thinking, how am I going to teach coding to 8th grade students? What do they use all the time? Well, they're on the internet all the time. How about if we create web pages? So I took a class, learned how to use HTML and a notepad, and the kids love it. I can't believe it. We were just starting today. They open a notepad, we type a couple of tags in, we save it as an HTML document, and instantly they see a web page. So it's really been quite rewarding.
And for high school, you will see come this spring our tech ed curriculum come forward, where we'll actually have computer science classes and how to build a web an application, so an app for your smartphone. How to build one of those will be an upcoming thing. But I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's okay.
We need a translation.
You were way up here.
Well, what you're doing is you're actually learning code, how to create a web page using actual HTML code.
HTML is what?
Hypertext markup language. And you're marking up.
Languages that go on
the code is the instructions that...
Okay.
Here are the instructions.
Okay.
So when you go on the internet, you go to a browser.
Yeah.
And you go to a web page. The browser reads the back end and shows you the web page. If the back end, the code isn't correct, you're not going to see anything. So it's really, they're loving it. I was just amazed the last trimester. Totally amazed.
Any way to hook them, that's good.
Yeah, they love it. So.
Just to give you a real concrete example of how something like coding and curriculum tie-in is in a lower elementary class. I want to say it was first grade. Students were programming a bot to go to a certain square, and in that square was a sight word, so they were practicing their sight words when the robot got to the square they had programmed. So it's not tech isn't another thing to do, it's a tool to learn the content in school. So.
It's integrated.
We did see that demonstration from the Quaker Hill students here one evening with the board. We were just amazed at what I think it was a lower grade, was it first? I think it was a very low elementary, and what the students were able to accomplish is really tying right to the curriculum and introducing them.
Yeah, just an idea.
So I'm teaching again with the 8th grade. I teach a couple of periods a day. If you want to email me, rshine@school.org. Love to have you. Love to have you come to this.
I'm a geek, so that'll be good.
And I also have a coding club after school. And I have a group of students building the Mindstorm Lego. I'm building it with them because I've never built one. And we have a drone. We're going to use the Tickle app to program the drone to take, flying pictures. So we have all this. We have the Probot. Jim has provided us with a lot of tools and toys that students just love. In the last two classes of each trimester, we play. The students have to research whatever device they want to use, come up with a project, and then produce a project.
And we feel free to email any of us if you have questions.
Yeah.
And I know we're really easy to do.
And if you want to come in and have
if
you want to come in and have like a tour
reach out
of things, I'd be more than happy.
I know, I saw firsthand, Tammy Sullivan invited me into her class because I was concerned about reading workshops. And I was amazed at what her class could do on the computers. Because I was concerned about the mastery test being on the computer now, and I just wanted to make sure that all of our students, when they're in the third grade, especially when they have to take the test, that they know how to operate, go through everything. So I'm hoping they'll be okay, right?
They're fine.
They're
more than fine.
I don't think I would be, but I think they'll be
They're more than fine.
We did interim testing last week, and I was watching it, particularly to see how the kids navigated and typed in.
But that was another concern of mine. It's because it's a timed test.
Yeah.
Do they do all right that way, or?
Well, it actually, they have all the time they need actually to do this test. So.
Oh, it's not timed.
That's one of the wild things about it.
Oh, that's great. I thought they were.
So they can take us on.
So that's good.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion that the Waterford Board of Education approves the technology plan for 2015 and 2018 as presented.
Is there a second? Lisa? Okay, any more discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, now discussion and possible action regarding our student transportation contract for 2017 to 2022, and that was enclosed in our packet.
Sure. To give you a little background, we're currently in the midst of a 5-year contract that expires in June of 2017. We met with our current bus contractor. We've had a very positive relationship with FTA. We discussed some of the budgetary challenges we're facing next year and beyond. Had a positive and fruitful discussion and renegotiated the terms of our current contract and an extension. Currently we're at paying 3% a year in our current contract. The renegotiation for next year would be a 0% increase, and then remain steady at 3% for the next 5 years of the contract. That works out to less than 2.5 over the 6 years, which is a very competitive and fair deal.
Any questions? Greg?
What about energy? Oil, everything you read, it's not going to go up. It's going to stay down for quite a while. We don't see any inflation in the economy. Why is it in our interest in what looks like an economy that's on the verge of deflation to re-up for a long-term contract? Why not sit back and wait at least another year?
So part of that, you mentioned energy, oil, fuel, things like that. So fuel is not in this contract. We pay for fuel separately for the buses, so that's not part of the contract.
Okay.
We surveyed other districts who are under similar multi-year contracts. Some are upwards of 2.9 and 3, which is where we are now. With the renegotiation, we'll be below 2.5 over the next 6 years average. There's always a risk going out to bid that it could come in higher than what we're at now. And the research that our team did, we believe this is a fair deal.
You have another issue too, and that is that you've got the equipment now. The equipment has an estimated life, normally about 12 years. And so basically, if you're jumping from vendor to vendor, you're not maximizing the utilization of the equipment that you've already got in-house. So by re-upping with the same vendor, you're carrying that equipment out to a much closer point at which you're going to normally be turning it over. Also,
explain that to me. Who owns the equipment? Aren't the buses owned by the bus company?
Well, the equipment that you're using for this contract basically is the ownership of the equipment. Yeah, the ownership of the equipment is incidental. It's the fact that you
you've given them the opportunity to bring in new equipment. But if you're only going to use it for 5 years, and then they're going to use it on somebody else, another district, then it doesn't make any sense, because basically you've already got that in the district. Keep it in the district. Use it to the point where you're starting to have problems. You won't have problems with this equipment for another 6 or 7 years. So basically, if you've got that here, you use it. You mentioned another thing about the economy. Everything that we're looking at, we're talking about 2% plus. So I don't know about the
where are you getting that?
Well, for all school products, most school products are going 2% recovery. So, and I don't see that changing.
I think any union would be thrilled with 3% increases annually.
Any what?
Any employee would be
I'm
thrilled.
not talking about employees. I'm talking in terms of your basic supplies, your books, your library replenishment, all of those things.
That just doesn't make any sense to me at all from what I'm reading in the daily news.
Well, I can only tell you what we're buying, and what we're paying.
They're not coming anywhere close to even meeting 2% inflation a year.
In the education?
In the economy.
Well, I think a lot of that is being driven down by the petroleum products problem. But when you get into the education side, you're not seeing that at all.
Well, when you exclude food and you exclude energy, inflation is still not hitting 2%. So I don't understand why education has this unique enclave.
I'm not making it up. All you need to do is go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics and you see basically what they're forecasting. They're forecasting 2+. I mean, I'm taking that from our government and people who are studying it all day long. I think if you get into the educational arena, you will see that costs are not going down, especially when you're dealing with technology.
Well, yeah, if we keep getting 3% increases, no wonder.
I don't think we're driving that. I think that's driving up.
But while it is 3, if you take the average of the math, we're coming in at lower than 2.5 over the course of the 6 years. Just some quick data in our Berg area. Berlin's under contract, multi-year 3%. Clinton's at 2.9% over a multi-year contract extending out. So
how many years are they?
They're through. Clinton is through at least the next couple of years. Berlin is through 2017.
But when does it start? They usually have a 5-year contract. 2 or 3 years.
5.
5 is the norm.
And this contract is all inclusive to include the fuel cost, maintenance, and everything else?
We buy fuel separately,
okay.
Which we're seeing favorable rates, and you'll see that reflected in the budget presentation next week. So they are in the process of negotiating with their drivers, but this contract is all in.
So that's it. The fuel is the only thing that's separate.
Correct.
Okay.
So I'd just like to comment, while I appreciate the comments, I was also appreciative that for the next position, year out, where you have the 0%, which will help us, and that this company, I believe, gave us a lot of extra with the field trips, if I recall correctly, with the original contract, so we get some savings there where we have, I think, a couple hundred extra field trips written into the original. So in that regard, but I do want to voice my same concerns that Greg has said, that it's these high percentages, but that's the reality of the situation. So I think this is probably a solid contract, given the reality of what we're facing.
But they're also not going up against any competitors. There's no putting this out to bid. We're just extending it, so we don't know what else is out there in the universe of competition. So they're getting that benefit. It seems to me that maybe we could drive a little harder bargain.
Well, I think we were a little bit against the wall with some of the very unusual issues coming up for next year. And we were trying to find any kind of mechanism that would give us any kind of reduction over the next 12 to 18 months. And this just seemed like the best plan. I still think it's the best plan.
Anybody else? Thank you.
We proposed this to the bus company, or did the bus company propose this to us?
We proposed the meeting, and it was a mutual agreement from there.
Or aren't you just kicking the can down the road?
Well, we're hoping we can resolve the elephant in the room right now between now and the next 18 months from now. We'll see what happens.
Well,
but even if you don't, I don't think...
With respect to the impact of this contract.
Well, I was just about to say, I think even if you don't get the major problem resolved with the magnet school, you're still going to be in a position where you're very competitive with all the surrounding towns in terms of what they're negotiating with their bus people. So I don't think you'll see too much difference from the 2.5.
Have we had any reduction in the number of buses that we have to use?
No.
No, not at all. Okay, and then I just have a question.
It's so widespread. It's more geographic than the population of the children.
And then the buses right now are 4 years old.
Correct.
So they'll be 9 to 10 years old by the time. Now all of them are the same age. Okay. And then they're inspected every year. The way that and our drivers are different. I mean, I've heard a few concerns from parents about the buses, the bus runs this year, but nothing like it used to be. So I think parents on the whole are happy with our bus company. How does the board feel? Is there any more discussion? Or?
No, it's just there's always a concern anytime you get tied into a long-term contract that you don't know, you can't even predict where we're going to be financially 3 years from now with any real accuracy. So, but
did we always have a 5-year contract? Or was it 3?
Pretty typical size, pretty typical.
We've had 5 in history where we've extended the 5 to the same company in the past.
So another 5 years or another 3?
There are a lot of reasons for doing that too. I mean, you've got a comfortable group of drivers who know the area, they know the families, and they even know the homes. And so basically, to be starting that all over again sometimes causes difficulties. Here you don't need to worry about that. There are a number of reasons why it's beneficial to both sides to keep the contract going. And it's very, very normal to go, 10, even 15 years.
What was their opening request in these negotiations?
They were just listening. They were just listening to our situation.
So this is something we just put out there?
They wanted to continue the same percent for the life of it, and we really pushed back by getting to 0, and then the negotiations come and we just sort of wrote off the bus because, as you see on the back, there's a compounding, benefit by getting to 0 the first year of the contract, rather than just a comp with the money that was there. So, having been in negotiations before, I felt that there was movement, positive movement of us throughout this.
They initiated it with the 5-year extension, but they didn't know anything beyond that. We brought everything else.
Have they been able to come up with any cost savings for us as far as?
Well, I can tell you that Barbara Brigham works diligently to make sure that bus runs are highly efficient. As we have adjusted all of our school schedules this year as a result of the teacher contract going from 6 hours and 45 minutes of instruction consistently. That had a domino effect that the bus company needs to realign all the bus runs. They're much tighter than ever before, and despite that, we're able to get kids home on time and really not have problems. So I do think those efficiencies are there. But we have looked in the past, and it's been about probably now 8 years since we were able to cut 2 buses from the bus run, in large part due to, again, Barbara's efficiency to really see how we can, sweep runs in. But we have a 4-tier bus run system from the high school to the middle school to the elementary school to the friendship school, which is pretty daunting task.
Okay, is it, Kathleen?
I guess I would just like to comment what's leaning me in the direction of the favorable report is that we've talked about having new equipment, having buses that we can rely on and that are fairly new and that would be extended out. You never know if you renegotiate if you'll have that same quality of equipment. Also, I think Superintendent Giard gave us the data that we're not, it would be, I agree with you in concept, Greg, and it's too bad, and I would prefer to have a 0% if we could across, but I'm pleased to see the $337,000 in savings on that 1 year. And I believe if we look at the reality, you're not going to, I doubt we would find, and you did give us a few districts that we have in our area that are right in the same, a little bit higher, actually. So it's a tough call because you want to do the very best you can. I'm happy, given the circumstances we're facing, to have this help along the way with the 0%.
I don't understand the equipment argument at all. Anybody that we contract with has got to have equipment that meets state standards. It's got to work. They've got to be able to drive those buses. They've got to be able to operate, need all the testing. So to say you got the benefit of some equipment, you're going to have functional equipment no matter who you contract with. So that argument just fails.
Not necessarily new equipment.
What's the difference as long as it works?
Well,
I don't have to drive a new car as long as I can get from A to B.
Older equipment, even though it's being inspected a couple times a year, still fails.
Now, if you tell me that you're going to get better miles per gallon with their equipment, and we're paying for the oil or the gas, that's an argument that resonates. But I haven't heard that.
Yeah, may I make a suggestion? So we don't, because I think we all want to save. There's no question about it. We're all looking for as many savings. If we might be able to table this until we're into our budget negotiations and application in a few more days, and maybe we could have a few more. We can do a little more research to be sure that we're commensurate with what's going on. I think we'll find that data, and that might solve it. That's a good idea.
And I was going to do you know any other towns that use this bus company?
We can certainly get a list of.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see what other towns are. The same bus company. Do you need a motion to table it?
I'll make the motion to table it.
Okay, is there a second? Okay. Any more discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Okay, in our packet, we have the draft document for our new assignments. And as I said earlier, we have 2 board members that offer to serve on the committees that are still open, so that's great. So I just need a motion to approve the committee assignments from January through December 2016.
So moved.
Kathleen, is there a second?
Second.
Kathleen and Marcia. Any more discussion? So does everybody know when your committees meet and everything and who to contact, or no? Okay. All right, Joyce will get after it. Anybody else that doesn't have? Are you all set in the answer?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay.
To take a vote on the motion?
Yes, it's going to do that. Okay. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. Now I need a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of discussion concerning attorney-client privilege, written memorandums, and retiree health insurance issues, and also confidential student matters.
And to invite Superintendent Giard and Attorney Ann Mansfield. So moved.
Okay, Ann, is there a second?
And Mr. Hauser.
Oh, I'm sorry.
For the student matter.
Mr. Hauser and?
Ms. Mosher.
Ms. Mosher, okay.
For the student matter.
For the student matter.
Okay. Are we doing the student matter first, or?
Yeah, we will.
Yeah. Okay, so it's so very good. Okay, was there a second? Second. Kathleen? Any more discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you all for coming. Have a nice evening.